Welcome to today's session on hierarchical clustering using R programming. Okay. So in hierarchical clustering, we build the hierarchy of clusters. Okay. So unlike k-means and k-meteors clustering, here the clustering is done in the basis of a hierarchy of clusters. Okay. So there are two approaches to this hierarchical clustering. The first one is a bottom-up approach, which is called as agglomerative, and the second one is a top-down approach, which is called as divisive. Okay. So we are going to use the iris dataset to build the hierarchical clustering. So first we are going to take see how many rows are there in iris. Okay. So for that I am giving dim iris 1. So it is going to find out the number of rows in the iris dataset. So iris dataset has 150 rows. So from this 150 rows, I take 50 sample rows. Okay. So from this 150 rows of iris dataset, I take 50 sample rows, and the number of the row is stored in I. Okay. So if you see this I, it is the random number of the rows in the iris dataset. 50 rows are selected from the 150 rows. So these random 50 rows from iris are selected and they are stored in iris 3. Okay. So iris 3 now has 50 records from iris dataset. So if you see first 5 records of iris 3, so you can see these records. Now I am going to set the species column of the iris 3 dataset as null. Okay. So then only I can do the clustering. I have to remove the species column attribute from the iris 3 dataset. Okay. So I am setting iris 3 $species is equal to null. Okay. So now using the iris 3 dataset without the species attribute, I am going to build the hierarchical clustering. For that I am using the function hclust. Okay. So for that I am using the function hclust. Okay. So inside this hclust I am giving the distribution of iris 3 dataset, and the method is equal to AVE. So this is what we are giving. Okay. So hierarchical clustering agglomerative approach is used. So that is the method AVE. So hclust is used to draw the hierarchical clustering. Okay. So now HC has the result of the hierarchical clustering. So we can plot this hierarchical clustering using the function plot and giving the labels as iris species of I. That is for the particular record, whatever is the species value in the iris dataset, so that will be given as the label for the leaf of the plot. Okay. So it will be like a tree structure. Okay. So this rect dot hclust will draw the rectangle around the clusters. Okay. So it is going to divide the plot into 3 clusters. That is why it is given as k equal to 3. So on this rect dot hclust will divide the clusters into 3 sections. It will draw the rectangle around the 3 clusters. Okay. And the next one, CU tree of H cluster will draw the dendrogram to group the clusters. Okay, it will draw the dendrogram to group the clusters. Okay, so let us zoom the diagram and see. See here, you can see 3 clusters drawn using the red line. Okay, the first cluster is having only one versicolor and the remaining is setosa, and the second cluster is having 3 virginica, and the third cluster is having versicolor and virginica combination. Okay, so these are the 3 clusters formed using agglomerative clustering, hierarchical clustering in R programming. Okay, so hope it is useful and it helps you to understand what is hierarchical clustering and how to draw a graph using hierarchical clustering in R. Okay. Okay. Hope it was a useful session. Let's see in the next session.